There's truth to what we learn, and then there's the influence of the human ego bandit as well. The human adventure is learning to decipher between the two and figure out what healthy ego expression actually looks like. I'm still connected to my child's mind, and I remember growing up, I'm 40 now, and looking up to people my current age and wondering what it will feel like to be an adult. I realize there's no dramatic moment littered with bells and whistles and a grown-up feeling of being adult, but a series of opportunities to decide when to take control of your experience of intentional reality and choose to be an adult. Still connected to that child's mind, and also able to rise up to the vulnerable moment and choose what to create with it, rather than just be moved by it, responding unconsciously. No matter how fast we run away from our past fears and trauma and toward our destiny, we always find ourselves standing on the edge of forever, always gazing out toward what we could be. It's a weird twist to grow up and learn more about myself, and it's like I'm coming to distrust my old self that was programmed by family and friends and media, society. Satisfaction comes from the moments you can find inside the day to feel alive. But is this all there is? To exist and grow and find a taste of enlightenment in the little moments. Maybe touch someone else's heart or life somehow, and then go sit by a lake, or hang out with some dogs, or go to class and try to not become a statistic. Life is like a 7-layer dip that has some moldy spots. Disgust or delight? Which language do you speak? They say there's 2 wolves inside each of us. What happens when both are well fed and on the prowl? Disgust or delight? Is it really a matter of choice? What do you do when your heart feels like warm apple pie, but your mind is festering in a rotten bale of apples from all the disgusting things you witness each day? Disgust or delight? Sometimes these wolves try to pull you apart, but it's the little things that can distract you from this wolf fight within, for those precious few moments when you remember why you're here. To feel alive, and to make use of this meat suit and this psycho-dimensional video game controller of life that we call the brain. And don't forget the power that your heart and intuition are in the equation. There's multiple skills and sensations that we use for our guidance systems in life. How do you use it to navigate your experience in life? Does your dream match your daily life? If it did, would you still dream? What guides you through life? In my guidance system, I have my physical senses and intuition, which work together to include even more sensations like interoception and exteroception, being able to sense and navigate what's happening inside my body and outside in the environment. Plus, there's that distinct voice in my head that knows what questions to ask and feels grounded in its understanding of truth. I call this my authentic voice, and I think of it like my spirit is operating this vehicle, and my authentic voice is what drives the vehicle. But it can be hard to navigate life from your authentic driver's seat when the anxieties of being human get in the way? How can I hear that voice when I'm in the shower practicing my self-defense moves on how to disable a gun because my local school is on a shooting threat lockdown and I might run into a shooter at my concert later? I feel so bad for what kids have to go through these days, and I wonder what it's doing to their ability to dream. When I was a kid, I used to dream about flying, playing music, driving cars, and an occasional nightmare about being chased by tigers at the circus. What do kids dream about these days? To survive going to school tomorrow? To become an influencer? I dream about a world where kids can play again, where they can ride their bikes and we can walk our neighborhood sidewalks without looking over our shoulders. I dream of a world where CEOs won't have to get shot because the people aren't oppressed and the planet isn't abused. I dream of a world where the term less fortunate isn't so ubiquitous. I dream of a country that truly encourages and supports its people. A country that sees everybody as worthy. Because every human is important in a community, whether it's your local town or the entire population. When a society is no longer for the people, by the people, it has lost its integrity. To reclaim our integrity requires righteous dissent, to challenge the status quo of destruction that drives the modern machine. As young adults, we raged against the machine, trying to stand up to its onslaught amidst the expanding sedations of society that tried to comfort us into complacency. And then comes the time to let this machine explode, or rather implode, and disintegrate on itself, as it has no bones for stability. But we've got the bones of survivors. We've got the grit of the true spirit of what it means to be American. More importantly, what it means to be human. Logic is also a part of our guidance system as humans. But don't let your logical stability get in the way of the actionable dreams you want to live, the intuitive drive that keeps you going in your lowest moments. I heard a good quote recently. You can live at the top of the mountain looking out, or you can be at the bottom with your hands in the dirt. If you are, be sure to smell the garlic. Most of life happens in between these places. What does it mean to be human to you? To me, it means striving to grow more as creators and collaborators, not consumers and violators. Being human is helping. Being human is cooperating. Being human is creating something together that is more powerful and beneficial than anything one person can do or hoard. I dream that one day resources will be productively shared in the matriarchal principle, rather than patriarchally conquered and wasted to only benefit an elite few. No human deserves to be degraded so that another human can profit. The ultra-wealthy have become so rich in resources that they've turned to using other humans as currency. We are not the pawns to be used by others to line their pockets and power their pillaging prestige. Our righteous dissent comes in our acts of rebellion, by gardens, community co-ops, food hubs, mutual aid systems, local idea incubators and entrepreneurship, robust education systems, and sustainable economic and environmental practices. Inspiring people to be creative. I used to dream of a utopia where no one fought or experienced challenges, but now I think our human experience is here for us to go through those things and learn to not kill each other in the process. Instead, figure out how to hold on to our wonder and our dreams, being grateful for each day we can experience along the way. I dream of a day where we're all encouraged to be who we are, and if we're ever challenged on that, we have the confidence to communicate effectively and hold our integrity and stability while we all work through the experience, with everyone coming out unharmed and hopefully a little wiser in the process. But in order to stand up for ourselves, we have to first know ourselves and what we want. So here are 5 questions you can answer to know yourself a little better. Number 1, if you weren't thinking about your logical stability, what would you want to do with your days? If you didn't have the pressures that seem to push on you, what would draw you? What is valuable for your time? Number 2, when you're not in survival mode or rest mode, what attracts your attention and interests you? It's hard to even gauge that when you're so drained from a day of giving to a machine that just wants to eat you up. So it's natural to be tired. You've been getting used for a long time. But in those moments when you are not tired, and when you feel like you don't have to just go around surviving, what makes you feel alive? Where you want to be? How do you want to feel? Number 3, what's one thing you can do for yourself today? And what's one thing you can do for others today? Every time you do something for yourself, you learn about yourself a little more. And every time you do something for others, you learn about humanity a little more. Thereby, expand yourself. Number 4, how can you separate yourself from the monotonous routine of the machine each day? The routines that make you glaze over and check out are the ones that are holding you back. And it's common to develop so many routines that make us unconscious as we go through life. So how can we step out of these routines, especially the unhealthy ones that are just feeding this machine? How can we step out and see ourselves, maybe for the first time, to feel what makes you alive? And number 5, how can you dissent against unhealthy, unneeded purchases? In a world of capitalism, we're made to think that that's the mode of living. But it doesn't have to be that way. There are currencies and purchases that are going to have to happen in order to make a society function. but the way we set up our currencies and the way we operate transactions have a huge spectrum of how they can happen. And we're at the destructive end. So how can we make these currency systems and transactions healthy? That starts with what each one of us does in our daily lives, with each one of our dollars. Your time, attention, and money are what you have to spend in a society. Corporations that only operate for profit are trying to scam away your spending potential at every opportunity. Money is not evil. People and corporations that pillage and hoard profits at the expense of others are evil and need to be stopped. I dream of a day where we won't get harmed by pursuing what calls us, by following our hearts. I dream of a day where our passions aren't extinguished before they can even have a chance to flourish. It's time to stop turning a blind eye and turning the other cheek to the abuses being committed on you and others. It's time to take back control of our lives, to make the future one that's worth fighting for. It's time we become our own heroes. But yet, there's still so many people trying to sell pointless shit to try and get rich quick, because we live in such a money-driven, capitalistic world that people get sucked into identifying with money. And thus society gets reflected in that. And it becomes a big problem when they try to make it so that you can't live any other way except play the game. Debt, soulless jobs, working for greedy corporations, rushing into relationships to spit out kids as fast as you can so there will be more workers for the next generation. And why? This isn't survival of the human race. This is the continuation of profits. And for who? Not you. Not me. Barely anybody. Except a few. I know this isn't what we've spent thousands and thousands of years evolving into and working towards. Or maybe it is. Where are our guidance systems taking us? We've lost society. We've lost religion. We've lost family. We've lost creativity on the whole. You can find individual cases of all these, and it's inspiring when we do. But in terms of the story of our society, what parts of those things are guiding us anywhere? It's not the government, it's not work, it's not business. You hear good stories occasionally about innovation and invention, scientific progress, and creative exploration. But that doesn't seem to be what's guiding society. Our guidance systems seem to be taking us to grab whatever scraps we can because we're being told that we aren't good enough or smart enough or worthy enough to control our own lives. and that a group of people knows best for us. When has that ever been the American way? If anything, we take individualism and personal freedom to the extreme, no matter who gets run over in the process. But again, as we're seeing, all our systems are failing. And yet we keep looking elsewhere for other people to fix them. We keep assuming and giving credit to our representatives to actually do something that is going to benefit our society and keep us moving forward. What does that serve in our guidance system? How does that help us through life? I think if we consulted each one of our guidance systems and we asked ourselves, what do you want from life? What do I want from life? Not what's being told to you, not what you're hearing on the news, or your favorite podcast. Ask yourself, what do I want from life? If you can't distinguish what you truly want from what's being programmed into you, that's your first step. Because until we each take responsibility of our own personal awareness and our own intentions and behavior and where our attention's going, there's no way society is going to move the needle anywhere beneficial. So I hope we all take the chance to learn more about ourselves and ask questions of each other. Find out how we can be collaborators instead of competitors as we move forward as a society. I dream of a day where people aren't afraid.